So we all have 24 hours in a day. Do you always make the best out of your time? I'm guessing not, or you wouldn't really be here. But I'm going to share 7 productivity hacks that get me through the day. So if you need to do more in less time, stick around. I've got you covered. Hi, I'm Abby and I help mum bloggers turn their blogs into businesses. And today I'm going to share with you some productivity hacks because people always ask me questions about how much I get done in a day, and they always seem to be quite amazed about the amount of projects that I get through, and all whilst having a almost 5-year-old in tow half of the time. So I thought I would come on and share my productivity hacks with you, in the hope that it will help you do more in less time too. So it's really important. We just have that 24 hours, so we need to really make the most of it. And the first thing that I'm going to talk about is having routines. So what routines do is they make it really easy for you to get into what you're doing without having to think about it. Now, some of us out there are busy mamas, and the less we have to think, the better, because there's so much going on that we just want to do stuff. So if you have a routine where you always do this, and then your day always starts like this, and at lunchtime you check your emails or whatever, however it looks like for you, then you will get into this habit of it just being what happens, and then you don't have to actually think about what you're going to do next. So this leads me into the next thing, which I'm going to talk about planning ahead and using a calendar. Now, however that calendar is for you, so it could be on the computer, it could be in your phone, it could be written down on good old pen and paper, however you like to work with a calendar. But believe me, when I've spoken to and read about all of the really successful people in the world, and when I've spoken to successful people that I know, the one common thing that everyone has in common is they block their calendar and they diarise everything. So they'll put breaks in there, they'll put time for lunch in there, they'll put everything. Apart from loo breaks, pretty much everything else is accounted for, because then it keeps them on track and it keeps them on task. And that is really, really important. So you might think, oh, I haven't got time to write everything down in my calendar. But that's a bit of a cop-out, because it doesn't take that long. And quite often you can replicate one day onto the next day. So really I use the Google Calendar, and I've got a planner as well, but you just time block everything so that you know exactly what you're doing. You know when you finish this task, you're going to move on to that task, and your day can just go a whole lot smoother. So the next thing I want to talk about is batching. Now, batching is, I'm sure you've probably heard other people talking about batching. It's not a new thing, but it's really, really important, because what we do is when, and again, I'm going to say as mamas, because I think that we do think we can do everything, and to some degree we have to do multiple things at the same time, because you might have to be producing an invoice for a client and you've got your kid hanging off you, or whatever that looks like for you. But sometimes we have to, but actually multitasking is the devil. So what we need to do is really focus on one task at a time, because then you eliminate what's called context switching. And context switching is when we move from one task to another task. We think we're going to do it, and we think that that's going to be fine, and maybe we'll work on 3 or 4 tasks at the same time, but all that actually happens is we lose 20% of time and focus each time we switch. So think about, you're going to be checking your emails, and then you move to looking at Facebook, and then you go back to your emails and you'll be like, oh, where was I in my emails? I can't remember where I got up to. And that is context switching, because it takes a while to get back into what you were doing before. So batching means I'm going to do all of my videos on a Monday. I'm going to sit down. It's easier because it's one face of makeup. It's, you know, you can change your tops if you want, ladies, to do a few videos at the same time. But we're going to just keep it going because we're in the zone. We're going to get all of the videos edited. One day, a couple of years ago, I did 21 videos in one day. But it meant after they were all edited and scheduled, I didn't have to do a video for, I think it was about 3 months. So then edit them all together and then take all your pictures together in one day. Obviously you can't always do that. You know, if you're taking pictures of a day out, then that's not going to work. But the majority of your stuff can be batched, and you would be very well advised to take that philosophy and start batching. The next thing I want to talk about is prioritization. So you need to really figure out, sometimes I feel like I've been busy all day, and then I actually get to the end of the day and think, what have I actually done that makes a difference? So it's really important to think about to do something every day. It's a real priority, and that means something that will move the needle forward in your business. So I really want you to think about not necessarily all of the other stuff that goes on, but just thinking about something that will make a difference, that will move you forward. So whether that's working with brands or producing your own products, or however that looks like for you, again, like just something that will move the needle, and make sure you're focusing on that, even if it's for 15 minutes a day, to make sure you're prioritizing things that are going to really matter. And the next thing I want to talk about is what everyone is really reluctant to do, so don't turn off now, but it's to outsource. So my life has changed considerably since I hired a good VA. So I'll put my VA links below, and a couple of other ladies that I know that work as VA. So whether you want to hire a virtual assistant, as I do, for a set number of hours every week, or whether you want to try a service like Fiverr or People Per Hour or one of the other sites and hire someone on an ad hoc basis or as a one-off thing, maybe you want all the broken links sorted out on your blog, or just hire someone as a one-off to do that for you. It can be really good and very liberating. So you have to bear in mind that sometimes we think, but we can do it. And just because we can do it doesn't mean we should do it, okay? So just because you can do all of your broken links or you can do all your social media scheduling, if someone else can do it for a fraction of the cost that it would in terms of your hourly rate, think of your hourly rate, think of you sitting down writing a sponsored post and getting however many hundreds of pounds for it, even £100 for it. If someone's going to do your social media scheduling and they're going to take less time in terms of the amount per hour, then it makes more sense for them to do it. I've even persuaded people before that they need a cleaner, because if they pay their cleaner £10 an hour, but they know they can earn £20 an hour, then, or they can write a sponsored post in an hour that's 200, 300 quid, then it's not actually cost effective to do your own cleaning. So that's worth bearing in mind. The next thing I want to talk about is systems and processes. So the more you get into things and the more you do something, if you do something repeatedly, then it needs to be systematized or automated, and so you can replicate it really easy. Now, the simplest way to do sort of systems and processes is to really analyze what you're doing and think of anything that comes up that you do again and again. So for me, I'm a big keyboard shortcut person. So I've got so many keyboard shortcuts, and I use a thing called Alfred, which can basically, it stores lots of things in your, you know, when you do a copy and paste and then you do another copy and paste and it wipes the last one off. Well, this one allows you to store multiple things on your clipboard, so you can just press a button and access them. So it's like keyboard shortcut, but I prefer it really. So because it doesn't then come up when I'm typing something randomly and I've keyboard shortcutted that word and then it comes up. So Alfred is a good thing to have a look at. And anything that you do again and again just needs to be systematized. So can you have a template every time a brand respond to you? Can you have something that you just tweak, you know, that you can drop in and tweak it? Are you signing up new clients? You know, are you a coach or something? So you need onboarding for your clients, but this can all be documents that you send out. Maybe you tweak them, but you send out again and again. So automation is the key, and check out something called Zapier if you haven't got it already. It's kind of like If This Then That, or check out If This Then That. So either of those can do things for you that you wouldn't believe actually. They can even, you know, send you a text with the weather in the morning or remind you to take an umbrella if it's raining. So all of that kind of stuff they can do for you. So have a look at those. And the last thing I want to mention is tools. So it's really, there's so many things out there that can really help you be productive, but you're only going to benefit from them if you use them. So this is a really big thing. We can all have all the stuff and then be a little bit lazy and think, oh well, just gonna stare at Facebook or Netflix or something, but you have to actually use these things. So some of my favourite things are, I used to use Asana and I still kind of use it with my VA, but I've gone over to Airtable because Airtable is, imagine if a spreadsheet and Asana had a baby. That is what Airtable is. So it's like spreadsheets, but with a database attached to it, and it's colourful. And it does lots of things, so it's very good. And you can do surveys on it, and it's so good. So Airtable is where I'm at, and I'll put links to that as well below the video. And if you use a planner, then I use a planner and digital as well. I love I don't think there's anything that beats writing things down. And I've got the Smart Life Push Journal, which is Chalene Johnson's planner, and I'm loving that at the moment. I've also had in the past a Passion Planner and lots of other ones, and I know friends have got Happy Planners, and we'll put the links for all those below as well. But find tools that work for you. So whether it's an app on your phone reminding you, I would really just advise you to use something simple like Google Calendar and just sync it to your phone, and then use any other apps that you need to use. So Airtable would be my top tip. Especially if you're visual. I think spreadsheets are a little dry, and sometimes we need the capacity that a spreadsheet has. So that's been my 7 productivity tips. I hope that there's something in there that you can take, and remember, we've all got the same amount of hours in a day. It's how we use it that really, really matters, and how focused we are, because it's not about necessarily cramming more into the time so that we can do more. It's cramming more into the time so that we can relax more, or spend more time with our family, or chill out, or read a book. It's not necessarily just so we can hustle until we explode. It's kind of so we can have more balance. So I hope that's helped, and I'll be back soon with more tips. Bye.